The Black Ops 6 beta is on right now, and in it we have a set of score streaks available for us to use. And yes, they are score streaks, they're not kill streaks. You don't need a set number of kills to access any of them. You just need a certain amount of score within your life, which can be got by killing players, or by completing objectives, or doing things that are useful for your team, like throwing down ammo and using a trophy system, or even using other score streaks. So you actually get these pretty quickly, and they're pretty common throughout the game. So let's talk about each one. The first one is the Scout Pulse. This only needs 400 score, and you can actually reduce that by 150 down to 250 with Dispatcher, which is one of the green perks. And if you have Bankroll, that takes off another 150, so you only actually need 100 points or 1 kill to get this if you have those 2 perks on. Basically, this just pings nearby enemies on the minimap just for yourself, as far as I can tell. It doesn't give it to your teammates as well. And it has quite a limited range. It's not great, but then you can get it with just 100 points, so it's super easy to get a little bit of extra information in every single life, which is pretty awesome. Next up is the RCXD. I'm finding in Black Ops 6 this feels a little bit less maneuverable than maybe it has in other games, but it still works the same way. You can boost, you can jump, you can drive it around, and then explode it when you want to try and kill enemies. If the enemies shoot it, it will still explode, so it can take out enemies then as well. Next up is the UAV, and it works exactly as you'd expect it to. You put it up and it provides your entire team with pings showing where enemies are, unless they have ghost and they're moving. Because it's shared across your entire team, it's obviously better than Combat Pulse, but enemies can shoot it down. It flies up in the air and it can be brought down just with a machine gun or a rocket launcher. Similarly, the counter UAV or CUAV is exactly the same as it has been in other games too. It will scramble the radar of all of your enemies, it will stop them from being able to put up something like a UAV, but it can also be shot down. It's very big in the sky and it's very slow. One note on the counter UAV is that it is useful even if the enemies don't have a UAV up. Because it scrambles your minimap anyway, it stops them from being able to see where your teammates are when they fire their unsuppressed weapons. Now we get onto the more interesting ones with the Watchdog Hilo. This will call in a helicopter that will fly over the battlefield and it will ping enemies, but it'll also shoot at them. It takes quite a few hits to kill someone, but on some of the more open outdoors maps like Scud or Derelict, you can actually get quite a few kills with it. Next up is the Hellstorm missile. This works quite similar to a cruise missile from the last few Call of Duty games where you fly it down into the battlefield, but the difference with this is that it will keep on trying to lock onto enemies on the ground, and you can press the trigger while in the air to fire off smaller sort of sub-missiles that will try and track those targets. They are pretty slow, they'll miss a lot of the time, but you can still fly the main missile right up close to the enemy and try to get a kill. Up next is a new one for the second weekend of the beta, and that's the Interceptors. This is a set of fighter jets that will come in and take out any enemy score streaks that are in the sky. So that's the UAV, the counter UAV, the Watchdog Hilo, or the chopper gunner. No idea if they would take out other interceptors or the Hellstorm missile. That's something we'll have to try in private games when the game releases. These do like free passes, so they stop enemies using kill streaks during that time. They can be kind of useful if you're fighting up against an enemy team that gets lots of score streaks, but obviously if you're in that position anyway, you're probably unlikely to get these. And finally, we have another one added this beta weekend, the Chopper Gunner. It's the most expensive score streak in the beta at 1600 points, and it's like you remember it from the other games. You take the position of a door gunner in a helicopter, and you get a while to fly around the map shooting all of the enemies you can. You have all the enemies marked out in red, I'm assuming unless they have that perk that hides them, and the gun is pretty strong. It's not the strongest chopper gunner we've seen, it's not that accurate, and it does take quite a few hits to kill people, but it does have some splash damage, so you can kind of shoot near them and you'll still probably get your hits in. The chopper gunner can of course be shot down by other players, but if people try to lock onto you with an anti-air missile, you do have free flares that you can use to try and sort of get rid of those missiles. Obviously the big frustration for the chopper gunner, like you can kind of see in this gameplay, is that if it's in a map like Rewind where everyone can go inside, it's actually pretty hard to get any kills. Although I do get the HVT down here, which is pretty cool. Anyway, that is it for all of the score streaks that are in the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 beta. Obviously, there is also the one kill streak in the game, the nuke. I've never got a nuke in Call of Duty. I've not even seen one in a beta. I've not seen an enemy use one either, or someone on a friendly team. They're pretty rare, but I'm sure you'll be able to find some videos of people using those on YouTube. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one. Goodbye.